You ever feel like your mind is just adrift, like a ship tossed around on a stormy sea, always looking for a safe place to dock? We try so many things to get a little peace and quiet, but what if there was a technique that offered not just a temporary shelter, but a real, true home? Well, today we're diving into why breath meditation is considered that one-of-a-kind safe harbor for the mind.
I mean, let's be real for a second. We've all been there, right? You sit down, you try to focus on one thing, and bam, your mind is off to the races, planning your grocery list or replaying some awkward conversation from last week. That restless, wandering mind, it's a universal thing. But what if we could actually give it a place to come back to? A place where it could finally just be still?
Okay, so this right here is the core idea. On the left, you've got what are called foraging places. You can think of these as temporary spots the mind can visit. They might be interesting, sure, but they can also be kind of unsettling, even risky. Then, on the right, you've got a true home, a place that's fundamentally safe, stable, and agreeable. This metaphor is absolutely key to understanding what makes breath meditation so different.
So what is it about the breath that makes it this true home? Let's get into exactly why it's seen as such a uniquely safe and powerful way to find that inner stability we're all looking for. So the formal name for this is ānāpānassati, which you can just call breath meditation. But it's also described as a vihara dhamma, which literally translates to a dwelling place, or a home for the mind. How cool is that? Instead of sending your mind out to explore all these different and sometimes tricky concepts, the entire point here is to bring it home, to a place where it can just settle down and rest.
And this quote, wow, it just paints the perfect picture, doesn't it? Think about it. You're not out there on the chaotic, choppy waves getting thrown around in some little boat. No, you're sitting securely at the dockside in a sturdy shelter, just watching the storm from a place of total safety. That's the feeling of stability this practice helps you cultivate.
Now, to really appreciate how safe that dock is, you kind of have to understand the dangers of being out on the open sea. So let's take a look at why those other foraging places can sometimes be a little risky.
And this is fascinating. Check out the potential pitfalls of some other methods. Focusing on certain recollections, that can sometimes bring up some pretty startling visions. Contemplating what are called foul objects can actually cause real alienation and distress. Using visual objects, or keshinas, might just cause the mind to get completely carried away and lose its footing. Even analyzing the elements can, if you're not careful, lead to a kind of delusion. The takeaway here is pretty clear. These other paths have their own set of risks.
And that is exactly why breath meditation stands out from the crowd. It's safe, it's calming, and it's said to be suitable for people of any and every temperament. It doesn't ask you to rely on external ideas or visualizations that could potentially lead you astray. It relies on the one thing that's always, always with you, your own breath.
All right, so we pretty much covered the why. Now it's time for the how. Let's walk through a super simple, practical guide for anyone who wants to get started with this.
It really does start simply. First, just find a comfortable spot to sit, keeping your body upright but not stiff. Step 2, bring all your focus right here, to the present moment with mindfulness and alertness. Now, to help with that, and this is a great trick if your mind is extra busy, you can use an aid. You can mentally say Bud on the in-breath and Do on the out-breath. Or even simpler, just count your breaths from 1 up to 10, and then start over. Think of these as training wheels. Once you feel your mind starting to settle, you just let them go.
Okay, so your mind has settled down a bit, and you've let go of the counting or the mantra. The next phase is all about gentle observation. It's about tuning in and finding a rhythm for your breath that feels really, truly comfortable.
Now, this part is basically a gentle experiment. Seriously, don't force a thing. Just notice your breath and see what feels best. Is it a long in-breath and a long out-breath? Or maybe short and short feels better today? You can even try a long in-breath with a short out-breath, or the other way around. The whole point isn't to find the one right way to breathe. It's to discover the rhythm that brings the most ease to your body and mind right here, right now. And that brings us to the final stage of this foundational practice. Once you've found that comfortable, easy breath, you can actually allow that feeling to spread, totally transforming your awareness. So the idea here is to let that pleasant, comfortable sensation of the breath just radiate outwards. Imagine it flowing through your arms, your legs, flowing through your entire body. This helps you develop a state called sati, which is basically a mindfulness that's fully immersed, fully present in the body. Your awareness becomes broad, stable, and completely here. You know, when you boil it all down, that's the real beauty of this whole practice. Unlike anything else, your breath is always there for you. It's your constant, reliable anchor. It doesn't matter what kind of storms are kicking up outside or even inside your own head, you always have access to this safe harbor. You always have a home for your mind.
So by building this simple, stable home for your mind, you're creating a space where real peace and genuine insight can begin to grow. And that kind of leaves us with one final big question. Once you're safe and sound in that harbor, protected from the storm, what could you discover?